Hey guys, good morning. I hope y'all are having a wonderful time wherever you are. I want to talk with you very quickly about a topic, something that I've been seeing. But before that, I want to go to a scripture and share it with you. And it's in 2 Samuel chapter 13. And in this chapter, basically in a nutshell, it involves one of David's sons called Amnon. Okay? And Amnon was, quote unquote, in love, greatly desired Tamar. And Tamar and Absalom, who's another one of David's son. Absalom had beautiful hair. He was very handsome. He was very charismatic. As a matter of fact, Absalom rebels against his father as a result. Well, Absalom was already sort of rebellious in his own way, but this specific event really caused him to turn against his father, David. And because Absalom and Tamar were very close, he loved his sister. And here's this other brother that violates her, and he feels that David did nothing about it. And Absalom actually takes it into his own hands and murders his brother. He murders Amnon, but he doesn't do it right away. Okay, he waits for some time and allow Amnon to think everything is good, everything is fine. But he got revenge and murdered Amnon for assaulting his sister. So the way Amnon does this is by pretending to be sick, and he plans it and he plots it. He's just longing and longing for her. He wants her so bad. He's getting physically sick at first, and he sits with someone else and figure out a way to lure her to him. And the way he does that is by saying that he's not well. He's asking his sister to come to help him, and she goes into him. At that point, he forces himself upon her. She begs him, tells him not to do this, not to do this. And in those days, they were allowed to marry. She said, do this the right way. Go ask for my hand. But he wouldn't. So he forced himself on her. And when he gets done with her, he puts her out. Okay? So it was a tradition for virgins to wear apparel of many colors. But once that happened to her, she ripped the colors off because she has been spoiled. Now you have to understand, for this time and the culture here, being a virgin is priceless. If you are not a virgin, no one's gonna want you, okay? And in some cases, you can be accused of having laid around with someone else, and you can even get stoned to death. Now, with her being one of David's daughters, I don't think she would have been stoned. I don't think she would have experienced anything like that. But nevertheless, another prince, a king, would not want their sons to marry a woman who's not a virgin. And if I am not mistaken, there's a way that they're going to know if you're a virgin. You can't just pretend like it's your first time. I believe there's this whole process of there needs to be a cloth that is laid there. And once they come together, they must be able to show that the hymen of the virgin has been broken, which would cause a bit of bleeding. And if that's not there, that's going to be a problem. So you can imagine her dilemma. So let me just read this. It says in 2 Samuel 13, and it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister. That means she was very beautiful, whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. And Amnon was so vexed that he felt sick for his sister Tamar. So it was like he was obsessing over her to the point that he became physically ill. And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her, right? So he's just trying to figure out, how can I get her? And it's just difficult. And Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother. And Jonadab was very subtle. So he's very sneaky. He's very manipulative. So he goes and talks to him, and he gives him an idea. So here's what he says. And he said, why are you, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Like, why are you losing weight? What's going on with you? Tell me. And Amnon says, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said to him, lay thee down on the bed and make yourself sick. And when your father come to see you, say unto him, I pray, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat and dress the meat in my sight that I may eat it. So Amnon lay down, okay, pretending to be sick, and asked his father to the king came to see him. He does exactly what uh what's that guy's name again? Jonadab tell him to do. So he's like, please let Tamar, my sister, come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go not to your brother Amnon's house and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he laid down, and took flour and she made him a cake. Okay, I'm kind of going ahead with this. And she baked him, and she brought them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, so what he does, he tells all the men to leave. Okay, so he's surrounded by people. So when she finished baking the cake, he says, have out all men from me. And they went out, every man from him. So he cleared the room. So when David sent her there, King David sent his daughter there, it's with Amnon, but there are other people around. Amnon now sent everyone out the room, tells Tamar to bring him the cake, and when she brought it to him, he took her, and she said, come lay with me. Okay? And she said, nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly. So don't do this. And I, whether I shall, she says, and I, shall I cause my shame to go? Where would my shame go if you do this? Okay? So she says, where shall my shame go? This will be just an embarrassment and humiliation. And she says, as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. So she's pleading with him. Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. But Amnon, howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Now, look what happens right after that. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred he had for her was greater than the love he had for her. And Amnon said unto her, arise, be gone. And she says, there is no cause this evil in sending me away. So she's saying, so now you've done this, you're going to send me away. It is greater than what you've done. But he would not hear her. Then he called his servant and said, put now this woman out. So now she's just this woman. Put this woman out and bolt the door after her. So he put her out and shut the door. And she had a garment of divers colors upon her, which were the robes of the king's daughters that were virgins. Then his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head and rent her garment of divers colors and was on her. Oh, so she rent the colorful outfit that was on her, and she went crying. And of course, Absalom sees her, and he says, has thy brother done this to thee? He says, behold, now thy peace, my sister. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate at her brother's house. So if you keep reading, you're going to see everything that happened. Now, Absalom was not done. And he told her, hold your peace. But Absalom was going to take this matter into his own hands. And he waits a few years, but he never forgot. And he went and he took Amnon's life. So what is the point? Now, there is a thing that I've been seeing a lot of people talking about. It's on social media. It's trending. There's a lot of people that's moving to different countries, men that are moving to these countries or that country. I can say specifically from the United States. And a lot of them are talking about going to get virgins or looking for women who are more mannerable. And whether you're black or white, there is there is a talk, okay, of people men who are specifically looking for virgins. Okay? They see the value of virgins. And it is to be a virgin. You are priceless, whether you are a male or a female. But in this case, we're talking about women. So there are men who are going and they're looking for virgins, and they're talking about how much more pure they are, and they're talking to women who are not virgins as if they are yesterday's old stuff. But one thing I'm noticing is that they are getting if a man is with a virgin, why is it that you're constantly seeking out virgins? Does that make sense? It's telling me that these men are going around looking for virgin women, young women, or even older women, because there are older women who are still virgins. And what they're doing is they are taking these women's virginities, but they're not staying with them. And from what I have heard and what I see and what I've observed is that they're actually looking for young girls, not even old virgins. They're looking for young women because they talk about a woman that's teachable, teachable, that listens, who you can show new things to. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to teach someone, and of course, they want the virgin. But here's the problem. How does this tie to these scriptures? Why is it that if a man has met a virgin, why haven't you married her? If you have met a virgin, she is pure. She's been with no man. She's young. So she doesn't know a lot about anybody. I guarantee you that any woman that you have taken her virginity and she's given her body to you, she is automatically going to be in love with you and want to be with you, especially if it's something that was done. In this case, Amnon violated her. I'm not talking about violation. I'm talking about consensual intimacy where her virginity is given up to you. This is the most precious thing that she has. She has to really like you, to trust you with that process of introducing something that she's probably nervous about, afraid at the moment, and she knows nothing else. There's automatically going to be a connection. And 9 times out of 10, very rarely is she just, oh, I don't like you. Because she has to like you to allow you to do that in the first place. So why is it a lot of these men that I hear going around talking about they want virgins are not settled, or they only deal with virgins? I only deal with virgin girls. Why are you dealing with many virgins? So to me, on the outside looking in, not being a man, not understanding, it sounds as if there are men that are going around looking for women who are pure, who are naive, who are untouched, having intimacy with them because it's new. They like to do these things, but they're not going to stay with them. Think about the level of heartbreak it is when you are someone's first. Me, having been a virgin, know what that feels like. And you automatically feel a lot for that person. And if that person breaks up with you, it feels like the end of the world. This person is just like the greatest thing ever because you know nothing else. And it's something, intimacy, sexual intimacy brings you together, spiritually. And when you're a person that you've not known any other man, they're all you're thinking about. Versus a man who is worldly, a man who has been with a bunch of other women, with no intention to marry you, just wanting to take and just want to feel you as a virgin and maybe show you a good time and show you around and teach you some things and be they like to be looked up to, and they like to see the fascination on your face, or as a virgin they want to see her fascination. They like to see how she's surprised by the simplest thing and how she's happy and how she's looking at him with love and adoration. But then they get tired, but then they want another woman, they want another virgin. So what's going on here? It's no different, in my opinion, than Amnon. That there's a desire for what's untouched, the beauty of what's not touched, the beauty of innocence. There's a desire for that. And then a man who has been with other women, it is not about so much about that woman, but to do this thing the way it makes him feel. And then he does not wife her. Then he does not wed her. Then he becomes like Amnon, right? He's like, put her outside. Now she's broken and she's hurting. And a lot of times these type of men, I can't speak for all, okay? But these men that's going around not looking for a virgin bride, in a sense of, okay, I want a wife who's a virgin. I want to be a provider. She's who I want. This is it. A lot of times they're not doing that. They're just going around hurting these women. And they're very worldly, and they can do that because they will say, I don't want a woman who has a bunch of bodies on her, meaning she's been with a bunch of men or been with anyone, or she has a bunch of soul ties. But the truth of the matter is, or they say she has miles on her. But a man that goes around sleeping with other people, you have those things as well. That's why when you're with a woman, these men that's been with other women, they have a point of reference. They can compare her body to the memory of what of other women he's been with. The way she feels, the way she responds. He has that. He also knows what made the majority of the other ones feel a certain way, so he'll try that on her. And because every time you lay with someone intimately, you take a piece of them in you, I feel that he will never be satisfied. And it's sad for these women because now they give up what's precious, and the man enjoys this gift, and he enjoys seeing her absolute allegiance and love for him, and the look in her eyes and the way she's just so interested in everything. But is this not anything? Is this nothing more than a high? Because then why is she not enough? Why are you not settled down with her? Why are they going to look for another virgin and another virgin and another virgin? And what are they doing? Leaving their mark and doing all these things to these young girls. Sometimes now leaving them in a state of heartbreak and pain. They feel sad, they feel down. And now the man who comes along, who she was for, who would have shown her love, now she has this flaw, this crack in her. Her heart's been broken, and it may be hard for him to get through to her. Or now he's with a woman who it's nothing new to her, and she may have issues in a sense of being broken and hurt and rejection and feeling neglected. And now he has to work through that. And some men, they're just not going to do that. Some men, I want a virgin. So if he's a virgin, especially, he wants a virgin. He doesn't want someone he may not want somebody who's already been with another person. Whether she was naive to it or she thought he would be there with her forever. Now, in other cultures, this video is not for everybody, okay? Because I know in other cultures, they do things very differently. There is no meeting. They sit down with the families. Things are done a certain way. There's a dowry. There's a whole lot going on before anybody gets anything. So your average Western guy is not going to go over there and just pick up a virgin and be with her. That's not going to happen, because in certain parts of the world, in other countries, there you're not meeting this woman by yourself. You're not going to meet this young bride or this young girl by yourself. You have to go through her brothers, her uncles, everybody. When you're meeting with a family. When you're courting, there are adults walking behind you. That environment, you're just not going to get those young girls. But there are other places where the girls get to walk around a bit more, but they are virgins. These girls are just, innocent young college girls, or whatever age they are, and they're just out with their friends and they're hanging out. And I believe men that go looking specifically for virgins, they can tell what a virgin looks like. As a woman, you can look at a girl and know she's a virgin for the most part, because there's a look and there's an innocence, a naivety still there with a girl who is a virgin. There's just, being a virgin is awesome, okay? And when you can see it, it's just a beautiful, is it a glow? Is it a look? You can tell. Just like mothers can tell when their daughter's been doing something, because there's a change in their behavior and everything, okay? A look they get that you're like, sort of. Now I could walk around and see, you can tell the teenage girls or whatever who's out there just doing stuff, because they get this look. Even how they walk, they start twisting, and I'm not being funny, just looking real frowsy. There's when these young girls get fast, and they just walking and twitching, just okay. But just something to think about here. So we have a lot of modern day Amnons, minus rape, minus that word, okay, minus sexual assault, because YouTube don't like you to say certain words. But they're modern day Amnons in the sense of they are fixated on, and they desire virgins, and desire someone. Take something that's precious. She gives herself. Not in the case now. We know Amnon, he forced himself. But what I'm saying is, we're talking in a situation where the man desires the girl so much. He wants this virgin so badly. He wants virgins, but once he's done, once he's through, he's not sticking around. He may stick around for how he's able to touch, because she admires him. He's going to enjoy that, but he's not marrying her. He is not faithful to her and her alone. He may treat her nicely and do some things, but then there's another virgin he desires over here, another virgin that he's loving the way she's loving on him, and he can tell her things, and she's going to listen, and she's going to be so shocked, and she's going to be so surprised, because she's still young. But they're getting what they want, and when they're done, they'll move along. Maybe they'll feel better about doing that, because they feel, well, I bought her some nice things, I took her to nice places, I showed her things. But when there's nothing in the world that you can buy and give to someone. The most precious thing she could have given to you was her virginity, and you can't buy that. And the way she's precious, because you're not looking for anyone else. These type of men are not looking for other women. They're looking for virgins. So how could you take something that's so precious that you can't buy in a store, and then think that you are able to pay her off or buy her off, or feel justified in walking away from her because at least you taught her some things? You have taken the greatest thing. You've been given the most precious thing ever. So there is no match. So when you're looking at it, you realize these men normally have carnage in their wake. Crying, hurting women. Women who don't understand. Women who perhaps they'll get over it, but their heart is broken. Because when you lay with a young girl, a young woman, and she's never been with anybody before, her heart is completely open. And that man that takes it, let me not say take, because take sounds like force, okay? In this case, I'm talking about consensual intimacy. When he does that, he's getting something so precious. And she's physically, emotionally, spiritually linked to him. And he breaks her heart. He walks away from her, regardless of how he thinks he was so nice and he was so caring and he bought her things. It doesn't equal and measure up. So just something to think about, those of you that are this way. Looking for the virgin. Why are you not married to her? Why are you not settled down? Why are you still looking for more virgins? Now, I know that there are cultural differences in places where people do certain things and it's their custom, where men have more than one wives and they are just a lot of women. They have more than one wives, more than two, or they have a wife and concubines. These things do still happen in other parts of the world. I'm not talking about these individuals because I know nothing about their cultures, but I think it's still, I don't know what it would be like for those women, but so I'm stepping out of that, okay? I'm not saying I'm like, oh, it's fine, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about that culture where that is the norm, okay? But I'm just talking about a lot of Western individuals where, you know, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it goes. Going to certain places, traveling to certain countries, moving from certain areas to go look for your virgins. You're coming from the U.S., coming from Australia, you're coming from England, you come from certain places, and you're going to go looking for your virgin wives, and you not virgin wives, they're looking for virgins. Still have a Western mindset of getting out of there, getting what I want and leaving you behind. Okay? And it's not fair and it's not right. And you can also find your virgins right in the US or right where you're at in your country. But it's still the same thing. If you've met this virgin, she's giving you her body. Why are you not married to her? Why are you not together? It has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with these men. They have a lot of bodies. They have a lot of soul ties. They have a lot of experience. They're very worldly. So it's not, they prefer virgins, but it does not mean that they're going to be loyal and they're going to be faithful and they're going to settle down. It's hard to settle down when you have a lot of things. You know, the Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So what that means is a person who you got this person on your mind, that person on your mind. I like this girl. I like that one. I love this. I love you. I like this one. I'm interested in here. That's not a stable foundation, and why they probably end up not marrying these women to begin with. All right, guys, let me know what you think.